what we're doing with our mind. Robert often used the term awareness, okay? And we'll talk about this. And basically, it's in Tai Chi, we allow for feeling our awareness or our mind or consciousness outside of the realm of the head and thought, okay? So mind can be associate with feeling. And we're going to work on what's called the sixth Chi Gong today. And we're going to introduce a couple ideas. And one is this etheric structure that's through in our body. We are going to move our mind up and down this structure, almost as if this structure is like an elevator shaft, okay? And our mind is the elevator car, and it's traveling up and down. We have to go to sportswear and then back down to electronics, you know. That was hilarious.
Are you being served?
Uh, thank you. Um, I had somebody chimed in. It was that good they could break radio silence. Okay. All right. So the idea is moving it up and down this structure, and I'm gonna and the top associates with this place up here, the byway. Right about here, I don't know, that's where it kind of exits my body. Okay, it exits right at the perineum. And I think everybody knows what the perineum is. It's between the anus and the genitals. Okay, it's that little area in there. And and it exits down between the feet. Okay. Um, but the feet and the legs are going to be active in this qigong as well. And the way I try to describe this action in the legs is imagine your legs are tubular, almost like a syringe, a tube of a syringe, in that the hands, your hands, are kind of the plunger. So we're going to have a few places where we come down and we're kind of from the top where my legs enter my torso. That's the top of the syringe. And we're kind of pressing down through the legs, through the tube of the leg. It goes out through the bubbling well, typically, or the whole foot bottom generally, but the structures in the foot will become important. And right now, I just want you to feel like this is going out through the feet bottoms. But where is it going? Okay. It's it's not stopping at the floor. Okay. I want you to let your mind kind of, and this is asking a little bit if you haven't heard this before, but I want you to feel like your mind is descending through the floor, um, and that you feel this kind of downward quality, and it doesn't stop at the feet. It goes a little bit below the level of the floor. I don't know how far. If you're really feeling strong, maybe it'll go 6 inches, a foot, something like that. But even if it just gets down below your feet, that's good too. Okay. And this is what we call sending your mind to earth. All right. And we do something similar up at the top of the body. Okay. So when we bring our awareness up to our head top, we want to let it go above our head top till we can't really feel anything anymore. It kind of disappears in the sky-like quality above our head. Heaven, it's called in Tai Chi parlance. So one of the descriptions of this Qigong is earth to heaven, heaven to earth. Okay. And what I call it in old-fashioned American English is up and down. Okay. We're traveling up and down on the Zhong Ding. I want to mention uh, one other thing I want to point out. And I sent on Wednesday, I sent an image using Allie as our model of the various important points in the body that are right on the Zhong Ding that are important to know. And it begins in the feet with the bubbling well, but also sometimes we use the heel as well, and sometimes somewhere between the heel and the bubbling well. And then it comes up to the perineum, that place, and everybody knows how to do this. I've heard about this from women about the Kegel process. If you just gently squeeze there, don't squeeze to create tension, but squeeze enough so you can. The quality of squeezing I've heard is like closing your eyes to go to sleep. Okay, so it's very gentle, but there should be kind of a little kind of pressure to close the eyes, and there's a little drawing in. So close the perineum. Okay, so closing and opening at the perineum. Then right below the navel, this area we call the tien, and it's right on that center line, the tien. This is the important structure in Tai Chi and Chi Gong. Above that, the solar plexus. Okay. Solar plexus is located just right at where the abdomen is encountering the sternum. Is it called the xiphoid process? Yeah. Okay. And then coming up to the center of right below the sternum, we call this the heart center. Now I know the heart's over on this side of the body, but the idea is the heart center takes in the whole chest area, and it's not the physical location of the heart, but it's the whole area right there. Then we come up to the throat notch. And this is a sensitive part of the body. It's at the base of the column of the throat. Everybody just touch the throat notch a little bit. And imagine your fingertip has a little bit of, maybe you can penetrate an inch from your fingertip. Imagine just pressing there lightly and letting your awareness go in a little bit right there. So you're right down at the center of the column of your throat. Okay. So the throat notch is the base. It's the start of the structures in the head, and it's an important one to know. Then up a little higher is the throat. And right in the throat, I would say kind of behind your Adam's apple, right in the center of the throat, right in there. We'll ask you to feel for that area as well. Okay. Great. There might be a question. And then we're going to talk about the third eye. And the third eye is at the level, everybody kind of has heard this one, that the third eye is between the eyes on the eyebrow level, but it's not on the surface of the body in Tai Chi. It's inside the head, the brain, and it mostly associates with the pineal gland, okay, which is a small gland behind the optic center of the body, okay. It's where we have inner vision. Okay, we use the third eye to see inwardly and address the spirit world, maybe. Those are just notions. And then at the top of the head, and we all know if we've been with babies, the fontanelle, that real soft spot where you can see the heartbeat in the head. Over time, that hardens off, of course, but right at the back of the fontanelle, where it starts meeting the bony part of the skull, and it extends right above the ear, the center of the ear. Okay. Could you come here? I could use your head, maybe. So from here, it just comes straight up in here, and it's going to be someplace like that. And I want you to find it right now. Find it on your own body, and take your fingernail and press on it so your mind feels it. And this goes back to Ming Tong Gu. Ming Tong would say, where your mind goes, the chi follows it. Okay. So if you can, and this is what I'm going to call palpation, if you can palpate your body and stimulate it enough so your body feels it, it's going to create blood flow to that area. It's going, so, okay. Yes. Yes.
He says it okay that we bob up and down. I think he was referencing when you were showing the Zhong Ding.
Yes, we will. The head top will bob up and down, and we'll show that in when we do the sixth Qigong. I'm sorry this is taking so long, but a lot of good stuff in here. So yes, there is bobbing, but the bobbing doesn't include losing our heel, our foot connection to the ground. Okay. Final thing about palpating and touching, and one thing that Cheng said, if you hurt somewhere, he said, rub it. And what I have always taken by that is by putting pressure and creating sensitivity there and heat, the blood flow naturally increases to that area and it becomes a healing process on its own. It's a way of alerting the mind that some healing needs to happen. Okay. And I mean, some things hurt so bad that it's you don't want to touch them at all. I get that. And so the touching or the bringing your awareness to it has to be thoughtful and gentle. But I've had tennis elbow, and so just feeling that I can press my hand in the heat of my body back into my body. That's one of the simple ways that we can think about bringing our chi, activating our chi, and activating health. Okay, so we're going to go on to doing the sixth Qigong. Okay, so sorry that was so long for everybody standing around. And so let's see. Felix, could you come here, please? And maybe face in. I am going to face the camera this way. And Allie, if you could be sort of on the squeaky spot almost. It's okay because there's sound deadening in the mic here and it doesn't come in. And yeah, swap out. Swap out. Okay. And so you guys can just face into the circle here. Okay, face into the center, face toward me, sort of. Face toward me. Okay. And this one starts, the feet are a little bit wider. Okay. And we are going to be moving up and down. The one thing about the way we're going to be traveling with our body, I'm going to show it from this side for a second, is I don't want to rock my knees back and forth so much. I want the knee to descend right over the column of the foot. So it doesn't go inside. We call this, this is kind of knee knocking. We call that collapsing the perineum. Okay. So, in the knee, when we go up and down, it doesn't extend beyond the toes. Okay. It may come close to the edge of the toe, but I want the buoyancy to be up in this part of the body as well, but not this way. Doing Tai Chi slightly improperly can really hurt your knees. And I've seen it happen with my brothers and sisters and some teachers even. So be careful with the knees, okay? So we consider this hyperextension of the knee. It's not really, the hyperextension would be the knee coming back, but this is in Tai Chi parlance too far. Okay, so, and then I need to introduce one final thing, and we're going to be using a new style of breathing, and it's called reverse breathing, okay? And reverse breathing, okay? And just put your hand on your tummy for a moment, okay? And when you do your next inhalation, I want you to slowly pull your tummy in and just then relax your breath. So don't hold your breath when you do this, but feel like you're slowly pulling in. As you do this, as you pull your tummy in, I'm going to ask you to also gently close your perineum. This does two things. So this drawing in, if this was a game show, I would be asking $200 for the correct answer on this. So the drawing in is a yin moment, okay? So it has this condensing quality. And what we're partly doing is we're condensing our mind on the Zhong Ding at various places. We're allowing our mind to stay on the Zhong Ding. The other thing about the condensing is it tends to make the mind rise. It tends to kind of make the mind go up a little bit. And we're going to try to take advantage of that. Okay. So here we go, finally. And so I want you to start with your hands like this. These are the plungers of your syringe. And I want you to imagine this part of the body. So imagine if we had a cutaway vision, there would be a tube at the top of the legs, a tubular opening. And we're going to just use a regular exhalation. We're going to have a very relaxed breath. And we are going to exhale to earth. And then we're going to pull our tummy in and just come up to perineum and then go back down. Open the body. So this is pull in, there's this kind of condensing, and then there's this releasing and going deep into the earth as much as you can. Almost like imagine watering your garden. It just let your mind sink deep into the soil. And so we're pulling right up the Zhong Ding to perineum and finding that spot and then dropping back down. So draw in and back down. And I want you to feel for that upright quality of the Zhong Ding. We're kind of, we had that good word instead of, I always think of rut, like a rut of a wagon wheel, a groove. We're trying to groove this line so our mind gets used to where it is. We're grooving that line up and down. And then I want you to pull it up to tien this time, right below the navel, and then drop it down through perineum into earth. Pull up, down again, up. We'll go one floor higher to lingerie up in solar plexus and back down. And up into the heart center. And I want you to watch my fingers. We're going to come up to heart center again. I want you to see how I'm pointing. I'm pointing with I'm trying to triangulate through that part of my body. There's a lot of intelligence coming out of us right here. I'm pointing into here. I'm pointing into here. I'm rotating the hands over and then I'm descending. I'm dropping down back to the garage. One more time to heart center. And that back down. Now up to the throat notch. Back down, really sink and let it dissolve into earth. Up again to throat notch. Dissolve. Keep the head quiet. So as you come down, don't drop your gaze. Okay. So just keep your eyes out. So the head top at this point, this is Tarik's question. The head top is bobbing. Okay. I want to go to the center of the throat, right above throat notch. Point in there, find it. Turn it over. Sink down. Come back up. And I want you to slowly sink down. Now I want to make a point here. So slow, about to the belly. So when you get to about here, the belly will start having this pressure gradient in it. And then you have to divide that pressure into the legs. So let it go into the legs and This is like evacuating your body. So feel like open and release. Pull up, down, a little bit of pressure, open and release to earth. Pull earth up. We're going to come and point our fingers at the third eye, in behind the eyes, and behind the optic center. Drop back down. Up again. Now this next one is going to be, so come back up again here, just slow down a little bit. We're at the eye center and we have a little bit more motion upward to do. Imagine you're in a car that has a sunroof. I want you to push up and feel the closed sunroof, the bottom side of the byway, and then drop down again. So we're going to palpate the byway from below with our mind, push it, point at it, feel that spot up there, the inside. It's not open though. Drop down one more time. Come up, feel it from bottom. One more time, drop down. Now we're going to open the sunroof and let your mind go right up over your head and drop down. Please notice our elbows. The elbows are below the height of the shoulder, okay? Not up here, okay? So here, height of the shoulder. But I'm extending, I'm triangulating to my awareness over my head, okay? Up here. And then drop down. One more time. And so one of the words that Robert would use, come up over your head, let your mind dissolve. Let it reconvene and come down. Let it dissolve in earth. So the body becomes this conduit where the mind functions, and then in heaven and earth, it kind of just vanishes. Just like your breath vanishes when you complete the inhalation, it vanishes for a moment, and then the exhalation naturally comes on. We're just going to end this practice and just settle our awareness in tien. And I'm going to give you the final little taste of mind movement right now. So we've been active. I've been talking. I've got to kind of catch my breath up. Let your body breathe naturally. Try to make it smooth, but the rate of your respiration may be faster to catch up on the oxygen that you need. And gradually that will quiet down. All the while through these practices, I want the tongue to remain connected to the upper palate. But now we are going to do what's called putting the mind and breath together in the tien. And how exactly do we do that? Is there a physical method to help that happen? And the first one I'm going to say is, your body is probably pretty warm. Mine is right now. Feel the palm of your hand against your belly. And just notice the rise and fall of the breath, the kind of billowing out, the ballooning of the abdomen with the inhalation, and the slight inward stroke as you exhale. So we're just riding with our awareness, with our palm touching the belly. On the next exhalation, I want you to let your mind descend from the palm touching the belly. I want you to let it descend to tien. Let it descend to the center, just in a few inches. Let your mind descend in a few inches. There will be a sensation of kind of coming back out with the inhalation. I'm going to say, try to keep your mind inside. Try to keep your mind in Dantian. And yes, you can feel free to close your eyes at this point. Focus your awareness inside. And so on every subsequent exhalation, you're in the cave of the Dantian. I want you to sink deeper. And I want you to realize there's an infinity of depth in Dantian. Let your mind become comfortable, sinking ever deeper. The Dantian is called the planting ground for the seeds of immortality. Rest your weary mind. Where to rest it? Rest it in the Dantian. When you feel like you're in trouble, go home. This is the center of your being. Put the mind and breath together in the Dantian. Okay, that's pretty much going to wrap it up for today's class. Thank you, Allie, and thank you, Felix, and thank you, Allie, and Judy, and Gloria, and Nan. Thank you guys for being troopers and coming out today. Okay.
Next week, 9 o'clock.
Next week, 9 o'clock. Thank you very much. Yes. So this is the early one. Okay. Okay. Thanks, everybody. Okay. And let me see if there's any more questions. No. Okay.
Thank you again, Bill. Wonderful class. Always
Okay.
good to see
Great.
you.
Great. Rick, thank you for coming along.
Thanks. Thank you very much,
See you
Bill.
next time. Bye-bye.
Yeah, I'll be
Okay.
there.
See you next time.
Yep, bye.